Well, I'm joined now by Hasan Basri Yalcin. He is an associate professor of political science and international relations at Istanbul Ticaret University. Thanks so much for speaking to us. Turkey has been saying it will proceed with this operation, but we are now hearing Syrian regime officials saying that Turkish combat operations in Afrin will be considered an act of aggression, that Syria will fight accordingly. Will that position, do you think, influence any of Turkey's plans now?
Personally, I cannot imagine that kind of a declaration will affect Turkish decision. Because, of course, Syrian government, Syrian regime will pretend as if it is commanding the entire Syria, but in reality, Turkish government and all other international participants to the Syrian civil war, they really know that it's not just a Syrian regime who decides what's going on in Syria. Therefore, such kind of a declaration from Syrian regime will probably not affect what Turkish government thinks about what will happen in Syria. In these kinds of situations, I can just imagine that Turkish government will probably get into contact with Russian and Iranian governments instead of dealing with what Syrian regime tells them to do. But on the other side, we also know that Syrian government in some cases can be just a mouthpiece of those other governments. It is just meaningful on this side. Otherwise, Turkey will not have so much difficulty with Syrian government's declaration. From my personal point of view, I can say that Syrian government is naturally will do such kind of explanations because they believe that they represent Syria.
Okay, but Syria is not mincing its words here. It's also saying it will shoot down any Turkish jets carrying out attacks. It almost sounds like the first indication that Syria is genuinely ready to go to war with Turkey. Is Turkey ready for that? And then whom will Russia and Iran support now in this specific standoff?
I don't believe that this is going to be a hot war between Syrian regime and Turkey. I don't think things are going to go to that level. These kinds of declarations are natural. Governments do these kinds of declarations. But even if there is a problem with the airspace, that can be solved with the diplomatic negotiations between Russia and Turkey. So these kinds of declarations have nothing to do with the real war in Syria. So Turkey and Syrian regime will not face in a situation of real war.
Okay, Hasan Basri Yalcin, thank you so much for joining us.